Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to a beautiful day in the garden. I was wanting to play with my stencil more, the lady that I did that I had showed you guys previously that you guys really liked, and I was looking for a piece of mine that had sort of a kind of negative space and some delicate gentle cells around the outside, and I didn't really have very much. So I poured a pearl pour last night, this one, and I actually really liked the way it came out. And it occurred to me that I haven't done a pearl pour for you guys in a very long time. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be clutching our pearls together. So this one is actually the same color palette that I used last night. So hopefully it'll turn out like this and we'll be really, really happy. And I actually have enough paint to maybe do 2 canvases, and I have something else I want to show you guys at the end also. So this is one that is a pearl pour that I probably will do a stencil on when it's dry. I'll be right back.
Baxter. Hey, buddy. Hi.
What's mommy doing, Bax? What's mommy doing? Hi, baby. You're a good boy. You're my sweet puppy, huh? Baxy is the best boy. Okay, so what we're using today, first, I have a 15 by 30 here. And the reason I want to do a longer one is because I did find a bigger version of that same lady stencil, and I want to use it on a longer canvas and see how that goes. So that's the impetus for using this size. I'll put this over there. Okay, so that's a 15 by 30. I also have a 20 by 20 standing by in case we have paint left over, which I'm pretty sure we will. Speaking of paint, today we are using, actually I just wanted to talk about pearl pours for a second. There's a lot of people that do them beautifully and have their own recipes. I don't like to complicate things. The pouring medium I'm using today is Liquitex gloss medium and Floetrol and a lot of water. So for me, the best results I've gotten has been when my paint has been very, very thin and I've added a ton of water to the paint because you're trying to thin it out. And then it's the technique, and I like the puddle pour technique, and it's the tilting. You tilt it out fast and then you leave it alone. And then it starts to sell out. And that's because of the Raleigh-Taylor instability and the actual chemical properties of the paint. When it gets thinned out and stretched, then it allows oilier paints to come to the surface. If you guys have ever opened a jar of DecoArt, there's oil on top. That's what's creating a lot of your cells. So if you want to know more about Raleigh-Taylor instability, you can go watch Gina DeLuca videos because she talks a lot about it when she started doing the straight pours, and really cool stuff. So that's why what happens happens. Let me show you the colors we're using. I am using Amsterdam titanium white with a little bit of Satin Enamels pure white in there. Now the ratio is probably about 1.5 ounces, an ounce of the titanium white and about 1/2 ounce of the Satin Enamels. So it's a much smaller amount. Conversely, you could also mix up your titanium white first and then just put like 1/2 ounce of Satin Enamels. Now you guys that know me know I like thick paint. This is pretty darn thin for me. Barely any mound at all, sinking into itself right off the bat. So for a pearl pour, this is what you want your consistency to be like, or thinner. So that's our white. A pretty simple palette tonight, not real fancy. Then I'm using my favorite metallic cobalt blue from artist Loft. I do love this color. And then the other one that I'm using, the darker one, is actually this Atelier Interactive Turquoise. And when I had them mixed up, they were actually very, very similar in color. And I didn't want that. So this is the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you get this tube of paint, this is not the color that you're stuck with. You can go darker, you can go lighter, you can change this by what you add to it. So I mentioned that they were pretty close to each other, and now they are not close to each other at all. To the turquoise, I added literally like maybe 1/2 teaspoon of Payne's Gray, and it deepened it up beautifully. And to the metallic cobalt, I added probably about 1 teaspoon of the Sargent's Acrylic Pearlescent Mixing Medium, which lightened it up just a smidge, but what that did was give us a lot more contrast. So you guys are not stuck with the color that's in the tube. Add white, add a little bit of black, add a little bit of blue, see what happens. Mix it up, make your own colors that you really love and what you're really looking for. So, okay, so that's the metallic cobalt. It's this one, nice and thin. Okay, no mound, just sinking. And the same thing with the Atelier Turquoise. This one actually feels thinner than this one, but that's okay. And then the last color that we're using, speaking of mixing things up, is a combination of the DecoArt Americana Decor Metallics in the 24 karat gold and in the champagne gold. They're about 50-50 in there. Again, just sinking pretty much into itself. Okay. So, pearl pours are fun. Don't really need a base coat. Don't need a flow extender. Just need big old puddles of paint. So I like to play with this. Sometimes I do it once and I'm happy with how it comes out. Sometimes I do it again and I'm happier with how it comes out. So if I do that, that's why. Okay. I'm going to start with some of my champagne and 24 karat gold mixture. The canvas is clean. No dog hair. Yes, I know. And I'm kind of going to pour this kind of along this way. Okay, and now we're going to come in right with that Atelier darker turquoise. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of white in there. And then my beautiful cobalt. And then I'm going to come back in with a lot more. Actually, I'm going to put a little gold first. So what we're doing is we're building layers of paint. And then we're going to put more white on top. Okay. And what we're going to do now, are you ready, HOA? You might want to stay wide for this. Don't stay close in because this is going to move around pretty quick. We're just going to tilt this out. And the object of what we're trying to do is we're going to get this to roll over one corner and we're going to try and get the white to be what's on top showing. But even if that doesn't work out, it's okay. It's going to be pretty. Okay, here we go. So first we're going to kind of move this around this way. And we're going to go all the way down to that corner. And then we're going to come back rather quickly. Go back this way and then we're going to go off of this corner rather quickly. We're going to turn it around. We're going to take it down, and we're going to go off our corner there. And you see how it's moving pretty fast. It's because the paint is very thin, but that's what you want with this. And if you see right along here, this edge closest to me is already starting to sell. We're just going to let this run until it covers the edge of that canvas and everything runs down. And in doing so, it's going to stretch out what's up there at the top and thin out that layer of white and allow underneath cells underneath that to come popping up. Almost there. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it upside down and we're going to stretch out this edge because I do want cells on this edge also. And let that float down. We're going to go this way and let this edge thin out and stretch also. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. I like that. So we didn't get the whole thing covered with white, and I'm actually okay with that. I prefer to have a little bit of color on there as well as the pearls. The pearls will continue to come. I'm going to wipe my hands off and then we're going to torch this. And then we're going to leave it alone. So once you see your cells start to pop up and form those nice little circles, I don't like to move it anymore after that. If you keep tilting after that point, that's when you get those wonky shaped cells that are kind of long and stretched out and weird. I prefer this look. So this one is kind of done. Let's torch it real fast. So torching, for those of you who are new, torching heats up the paint and allows any cells or air bubbles that might be trapped under the surface to come to the surface and pop. It's better to pop those now while your paint is very wet because then you end up with pretty cells. If you don't torch and you just leave it, you might have air bubbles trapped inside the paint, and as it starts to dry, they start to come to the surface and maybe don't pop and you end up with these little bumps, or worse if they do pop, divots. So better to get rid of those air bubbles in the beginning. Now I'm just going to come around to my edges and just take what's on my table. And cover up the sides. I'll do one in front of you in a second. Anywhere where there isn't paint, I'm just going to put some on there. Okay. Well, this edge actually looks pretty good, so I'm not going to touch it. This edge is pretty good. And this edge just has a couple of little spots that need to be filled in. Okay. So we do still have paint left, so I think I am going to do that 20 by 20. We're going to move this one over there behind me, and then I will bring you back in and show it to you in about when we're done with the other one. Okay. All right. So this, I'm not going to take this off the table yet because I want to show you guys something really, really cool later on. So this one is a 20 by 20 from Artist Loft. I have taped the back and put the push pins in. I have not painted the sides and edges though. You could. Actually, let's do that with this one. Get one of those little sponge brushes. We'll use our darkest turquoise. And I'm just going to go around the sides and edges with this one. And I do like using the brushes better than my fingers because it just gives more even coverage on there and gets it nice and pretty and smooth. Okay, so that's good.
That's where you rarely pass up a chance to finger paint.
I know. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a puddle of gold first. And then a nice big puddle of the darker turquoise. And then a little bit of white. And a little bit of the metallic cobalt. And some more gold. A bigger puddle of white. Okay. Now we're going to stretch it to all four corners and then wait. One, come back to the center. Two, come back to this zone and go off that edge. Let's take it down. Take your finger and give it something to slide down on and it'll come down nice and easy. Okay, and then we're going to go down this way. I think we might re-pour this one. I think I know how to do that. Okay, I'm going to put a puddle like over here. I think I'm going to start with the darker turquoise this time. And then a little bit of gold. And then the cobalt. An idea here is we definitely want to stretch out the paint so that it's thin on the surface and that the white is thin and it allows the colors to pop through. Okay, so everything's covered now and evenly coated. We're just going to sit here for a second and let this continue to float down and stretch out. Okay, I'm going to go this way a little bit. You see that like line pushing down? That's okay. We want that to happen actually because we want our white thin. take this back down this way one more time, just a little bit. This way needs to go down too. Composition wise, do we like this? Do we like all of this on here or no?
I like it. Were you trying to prep something for the stencil?
Yes, I do want negative space on there, so.
You probably want.
I mean, I'm okay with that because I have the white negative space, and this actually will look very cool when it's dried.
I think that looks cool,
Yeah.
especially once it starts to sell out.
Yeah, I think I want to try to get rid of this little edge though, real quick. Just take a little bit of that off. It's still moving pretty quick, so now's the time to do it. Okay. I don't know if I love that one.
It's gonna call ultimately.
I think I want to do that one again. So we're just going to do the same thing again. A little turquoise, a little bit of gold, some metallic cobalt, and a white. I think I'm going to add a little bit of water to my white just to thin it out a smidge more. That was probably too much, but it'll be okay.
Pour it off before you mix it.
Okay, here we go. Now we're going to pour the white in there. Bigger puddle. Okay. I'm going to go this way. Ooh, that's really thin. Down that edge. Get it this way. We were getting a lot of cells that were kind of wonky on there, and I'd rather just do this and have pretty cells coming up rather than weird wonky ones. So this corner. There's a lot of turquoise there. Okay. And again, we're stretching this out a lot and thinning it out a lot because we want cells to pop up through there. Okay, I actually like that better. Let's see what we got, and then I will show you the cells on the other one. I like that color, but I think I'm going to take my stick and just kind of do a bam through there. Kind of just following the natural curve. Just to introduce that color, maybe one more.
That's pretty cool.
Follow the natural lines. Ooh, that's not so good. Getting all drippy on me. Okay. I'm just going to tilt that a little bit this way, and incorporate it. All right. Down. All right. So that one's looking pretty cool. I'm going to move this one over. I'm going to bring the other one back so you can see it. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with what's on my table. So this one definitely had more white on it. Maybe we'll give the bit. Look how pretty those cells are. Beautiful little turquoise rings with gold centers, and then around the gold there's that line of that darker turquoise. And I really like what's happening in here, how there's like a shadow of a gold, and then there's like a couple of different colors of the metallic cobalt, and that kind of line of the darker. That's very pretty. Let's torch this one more time too. Okay. So let's move both of these out of the way. HOA, if you would be so kind as to take her and put her up there so she doesn't get messed up. This one over here. With this stuff, there's a lot of things you could do. You could scrape it into a cup, or you could do something that my good friend Fiona from Fiona Art likes to do. You do a dip. So I found these canvases. This is actually a 3-pack artist canvas panels. I think it's from Amazon. Super value pack. So, and there's 3 little hearts. They're kind of nestled into each other, which is very cute. And we're just going to dip these. So let's do the biggest one first. So we're literally going to find a cool part. Maybe we'll go over here because it's bigger. And we're literally just going to lay this down and give it a nice little gentle tap along the edges and in the middle to make sure it's all covered up. And then we're going to lift it up. You see, we missed a spot right there. So I'm going to dip it again, but before I do, I'm going to take a little bit of my gold and a little bit of the darker blue and maybe a little bit of the white. And we're going to dip it again. I love this. I think it's so much fun. And here we go. Ta-da! Sometimes you get cells. Sometimes you don't. I think that's really pretty. And you can even tilt it at this point a little bit. You can dip it again. So I'm going to leave that one alone. I think it's really pretty. And let's do the middle one now. Let's go over here because there's a lot of gold and a lot of paint over here. Ready each way?
Yep.
I'm going to put that right down in the puddle. Gently. That's so pretty. Oh, gorgeous.
It looks like one of those feather tulips.
Yeah. Okay, and let's do the last one. Now, let's put a little bit more of that darker turquoise in first. And then a little bit more gold. And then a little bit more white. Okay. Let's dip this last one. Ready? There you go. Pretty. It's such a cool technique. Now I'm just going to take my finger and go around the edges. And cover up the sides. Because obviously we don't want canvas showing.
See, finger painting.
Guilty. You caught me blue-fingered. Okay. And you know, if you guys have paint left over from a previous project, thinning it out and using it for a pearl pour. Look, we're starting to get cells on these. Real pretty. Love it. And that one over there. I'll bring this one over and do its sides and edges. Yeah. These are so much fun too. If you have kids and they want to paint with you, let them paint in your drips and play. Kids are amazing. It's so much fun to watch them because as adults we kind of can get like very hard on ourselves.
Art on.
It's so
They
funny.
put the cleavage there.
the cleavage part.
The other one too.
Thank you, HOA, for making sure you notice the cleavage.
I don't have anything family friendly to say.
No. Another way you could do the edges, rather than doing it with your finger, you could just tip it.
Roll it.
Yeah. And that covers it up nicely too.
Except for the cleavage.
Oh, get the cleavage. Oh my god. Stop saying cleavage, please. Okay. Now we'll do the center part that HOA is obsessed with. Okay. There we go. Alright. So that's pretty neat. I like those a lot. Now at this point, now I will scrape all of this into a cup, and this is very good to use as a flow extender. Let's move this little guy over there. Alright, so that's that. Okay, get that off real quick.
Anybody was wondering what the source of the snoring was?
Oh, is he snoring again? He's such a good doggy. He's such a good baby. Alright, so that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am going to give those a little torch real quick, hearts, just to see if we can get any other cells to pop up on them. Let me bring them over so you guys can see them again. There's one. There's two. And there's three. Get that out of the way. So I just want to encourage you guys who do paint to cut yourself some slack once in a while. Give yourself a break. This doesn't always work exactly how you want it to do, and that's okay, because sometimes the paint has a mind of its own. Especially if you're working with a thinner consistency, it can do what it wants rather than what you necessarily want it to. So I encourage you all to have fun with your paint. Play, capture that childlike joy that you had the first time that you saw a cell. You know, enjoy yourself, because they really are mood rings. They come, what we're feeling really comes across. So thank you guys so much for being here with us today. I will show you these when they are dry, and I'll show you guys the dried results from our peacock grenade pour that was really awesome. So thanks for being here, guys, from HOA and me and Baxter the snoring puppy. We'll see you real soon. Have a beautiful weekend. So this is the dried result from our peacock grenade pour, which turned out so pretty. There's some beautiful stuff in here. These cells are so pretty. I love this corner. And then these cells in here, that like pale green with the gold around it. Just beautiful. That darker blue, cobalt. A little bit of the violet in there where it mixed with the white. This was the Winsor & Newton phthalo blue, the darker one, and then we have the metallic cobalt. I love these cells over here. It's so pretty. Nice and shiny. Very cool stuff. The pearl pours we did today are obviously not dry yet, but I will show you those in the next video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.